If you're in America, it's very, very morning. It's 2 a.m., says Chip, and I don't know where you're located in the world, but I'm here in Croatia still, killing time, waiting for the Belgian GP. I head off next week on Wednesday to Belgium. Looking forward to that, and I'm looking forward to your comments on this particular live stream. It's been very warm here, 9 a.m. in Zadar. Yes, Terry, you are spot on. And a little later on, I'm going to head into the old part of the town. Put up a video yesterday that's done pretty good. A couple of you kept saying, when's your drivers drove to Hungary video? So I finally did that for you. And welcome along, Mr. Steve, Mr. W, Steve, Mr. W, who's managed to catch his this live stream. And what can I tell you about F1? Well, you've probably followed on social media where a lot of the drivers are spending their holidays. Seems to be Mykonos is the place to go. Huh. I have a little bit of a cold. And hello, Mango. You are from Adelaide. Excuse me. And good. Obviously, I was born in Adelaide and lived my first 21 years of my life there. Hello, Daniel Sterling. No, Starling. From England. I spent a week on a boat with a couple of English people, and we had a lovely time floating around the Adriatic Sea. It was quite lovely. And if you have no better option, come to Croatia. It's a really lovely place. Although the air conditioning, like a lot of Europe, doesn't handle very hot weather. And it can be a real pain in the bum if you're used to air conditioning that gets down to 20 degrees. Rightio, what's these comments here? Hello, Scott Good. I'm having a lovely holiday. Only 98 of you. I guess it's pretty early in the morning in Europe, and that's where a lot of my followers are. But I thought I'll try something different, and I had nothing to do for this particular hour. Now, coming up, I have a Valtteri Bottas print signed by the number 77 driver to give away, but you will need to be in Spa on Sunday to win it. So if you are in Spa, not this weekend, next weekend, in Spa, and I will give away one signed print of Valtteri coming out of the tunnel in Monaco to a punter, and I will tell you how to win that on Instagram and on YouTube. My good friends at Kennedy's Rolex dealership at the Crown Perth are tuning in right now, and lovely Marie is there. Got a call from Chester and Marie this time last week, says, now I want to know who's behind Perth Luxury, because that's a little innocuous. We can't work out who the person is, but yeah, this particular watch came from that particular dealership, and I'm very excited about my impending arrival of a Batgirl or a Pepsi or a Panda. Any of those three will be gladly welcomed and worn proudly here on my live streams and videos. Hello, Terry from Kansas in America, where hopefully we'll be racing in Austin, maybe 2 races in a row. You never quite know. Okay, right. Looking at other messages. Hello, Radio Alex HM. I'm looking for some interesting questions, and until I see an interesting question, I'll tell you, excuse me, I have a cold, that I'm looking for a Final Cut Pro editor. Hopefully I can find somebody in Spa on the Thursday night to help me with some editing. So if you are, yeah, there's Vegemite in the background, says somebody. I needed something just to break it up there. I got the call from my Batman last week. I picked up my Batman on Oyster. Jeepers. Okay, I thought you were from Kennedy's. Okay, so you got my Batman. Well, it's actually a Batgirl because the Batgirl has the Jubilee bracelet. For those unsure what I'm talking about, these are Rolex watches. The Batman, the Batgirl has a black. Is it a Submariner? No, it's a GMT. And it has half of the bezel is blue and half the bezel is black. And the older model is the Batman because it has this particular bracelet, and the newer model is the one with the Jubilee bracelet, and that's the Batgirl. Does Lando have a girlfriend? Well, you'd have to ask him, I think. Ask him, see what he says. I doubt he'll answer you. But yes, I've seen a video, and I suppose everybody else has. And did I read somewhere that he copped a bit of hate from younger girls, angry that some other girls on the scene? That's ridiculous, isn't it? Just bullshit. The US needs a better track than Coda. Chip, can you please sort that out? And you've got a couple of months. Time starts now. Hi, Louise. What do you think of the sea organs? And no, my wife, Darko, went and saw that yesterday. I haven't seen it because I had to sit in this room for 7 hours yesterday and edit a video. But I will be going down there today. This is it's a musical instrument that is effectively using the sea to make noise. And I will include that in my travel video, which I will put up probably on the Wednesday before the next race. Shaitanya, not missed a single video since January 21. Great work. Great work. I hope you're watching all the ads too, because that helps affray some of the costs involved with this ridiculously expensive sport, especially when you can't go home for an entire year and you have to spend all of your time in hotels or Airbnbs. And unpacking my luggage sometimes every one, sometimes I have a one-night stay, sometimes I'll have a 7-night stay. The one on the boat was 7 nights, so that was great. You unpack once, 7 days of no packing, unpacking. Perth Luxury only waited 9 months to get approved for an allocated 2021 Batman on the Oyster. Love it. Was doing a live stream with my mates of Todd Levin then. Well, you're a lucky man, because a good photographer friend of mine, who you might have seen, I think I put a couple of his pictures up on my page. That is Mario Renzi, a lovely Italian guy who is the guy you will see on the podium photographing. There is only one photographer allowed on the podium. It is Mario. He always stays low, and he gets obviously the best shots because he's got the best position. And he too has a Batman that he wears to the track. You're looking, Ross, at my coverage from Croatia? Yeah, you should come. It's a really nice place. And it's just been easy for me to stay here. Now, I read a story. In fact, I had an alert pop up. My name popped up in a story in Bahrain today. And I'll tell you what happened. Going back to Bahrain, all the teams and everyone in F1 was offered the opportunity to get jabbed with the Pfizer. I took it because I was there for 23 days. You only needed to be there for 21. And lots of teams took it. I know AlphaTauri took it. And I imagine some drivers, I can't confirm that, a lot of team personnel did. And of course we got our little certificate, which is here somewhere. But now Europe is perhaps saying they won't recognise that vaccination document as official, which is ridiculous because we all had it done. And that may affect the ability of those teams in Italy who had it done to travel to future races. But I can tell you that in Zagreb, going back exactly 22 days, we just went along to a soccer stadium there, or a basketball stadium, I think it was, and they were offering Johnson & Johnson jabs, so we got one each, my wife and I. And as such, we are now eligible for the Euro passport, COVID, vaccination passport, which I think will be my saviour, because I believe I'm going to need that to get into Belgium. And I think that unless FIA does some pretty quick tap dancing there may be some dramas with those teams getting into Belgium, because Belgium say they, at this stage, will only recognise the EU vaccination. That could be very tricky, but there are still some days left to go before we have to go. Do I think Lando is the best driver? No. No, I think Lewis and Max probably have that to themselves, but who knows? Unless you get them all in the same car, you're never going to know. How the pits work for F2. Look, I've never actually looked into that, Helen. Helen's asking, how do the pits work for F2? Would Prema use Mercedes pit box? Obviously, if I went down there and had a look, I'd probably know that. And maybe this race, I'll get my bum out there and have a look and be able to answer that. Oh, in fact, I can ask a guy. I know a guy to ask. Not now, but I will find that out. So let me make a note of that. F2 pit boxes. It's on my list of to-do things. VIP memberships. If you're not a VIP member, I tell you what you're missing out on. You are not getting my raw images after each race. I say I give you 4, sometimes I give you more. It allows you to take these images and edit them yourselves. If you're a photographer, you'll know what a raw image is. It's the highest form of photo, and I shoot in RAW, and I allow all of my VIP members to take a number of those and use them for their own personal pleasure. You can edit them, get them printed, do whatever you want. You've got to be a VIP member. You also miss out on wallpapers. I put up a handful this week. All of my members got them. VIP members also get access to a video that a lot of people want to see. It is the money side of F1 photography, because a lot of people are asking about it. I thought I'll do a video for those who are really serious about it. If you really want to get into F1 and you think you can be an F1 photographer, you'll probably want to have a look at that video. It's available to VIP members who can then, once they've joined, and there's a button next to subscribe that says join if you look at it on your laptop, and in most countries, I will say that some countries, for some reason, don't allow memberships. I don't know why they're paranoid about that, but they are. So if your country allows memberships, click on that, join, then go to the community tab, where you find all of things like the fact that I promoted this particular live stream on there. I have to do another video tomorrow, and it will be my, what have I called it? The best of season 2021 brackets, the first half. So I go through all of the 10 races and I tell you what shots I took and what events I thought were interesting enough to make my best of. Haven't recorded it yet. I have to do that tomorrow. Yes, Brandon, spot on, Vegemite behind me. Had it for breakfast this morning. Oh, okay, so when you come down for breakfast here at this hotel in Zadar, just outside Zadar, and you sit down, straight away these bees or wasps are straight over, and they're really dopey, slow-flying bees or wasps, and they just hang around your food, and you could pick them up in your hands and squash them. They're that dopey, but they're annoying. Michael, you know what? I'm going to answer you that question on one of those TikTok things, you know, that, what is that bloody piece of music? Anyway, I watched that and I thought I'm going to put my 3 most often asked questions on a TikTok video. For those of you who are on TikTok, which unfortunately I must admit I am addicted to, because when I finish editing here and I've had enough, I'll sit down and watch 10 minutes of that, which turns into 20 and 30, and it is a little disappointing. Yeah. But anyway, it's better than watching television, I think. Favourite watch brand that's not Rolex, I like Panerai, but they don't tend to go up in value very much. And I like Patek Philippe. Favourite team boss, I think Christian is the smoothest. I find Fred amusing. Franz Tost is always polite. Gunter, I like his out there attitude, and you might have seen a picture I took of him recently. Did you see that one? Britain. Let's see if I can find this picture quickly here. Gunter Brit. See if it comes up here. No. Let me try one other thing. It should come up. If my... Yeah, here we go. Unplug that. Unplug that. This picture. You like that? He's looking straight at me through my lens. He's a funny man. Do you have a tally of how many F1 vids that you've made? No, I don't, but somebody could count them up, Steve, and let me know, and I'd be most grateful for someone. Perth Luxury, A. Langen Zone over Patek every day of the week. No, not for me. Not for me, unfortunately. And I don't love the Royal Oak, Audemars Piguet. Don't like that at all. Yeah, anyway, that's watches. Let's keep going. Thoughts on New South Wales COVID? Oh, it's a bloody nightmare, isn't it? When I first came over here, in one of the first couple of races, Daniel Ricciardo and I had a quick chat, and he said, you know, it's funny, you've come to us, but from where you've come, we all want to be there. But you know what? I don't think they want to be there now. I think I've done the right thing coming here and foregoing my ability to go home. I don't know if Britta has a partner. No, Queen Lover. No, I think I've done the right thing, because I've not had any lockdown anywhere I've been. With Britain, we had to stay in our hotel and go to the track, and we can go backwards and forwards, which is fine. But there's been no real inconvenience for us travelling so far. But hey, that could change, I know, in a moment. And if it does, well, then we just have to bear it. And I rolled the dice, and I'm happy to take whatever it produces. I don't know what the Rolex market's like over here. I do know that I see a lot of brand new Rolexes appear on, was it Chrono 24? And I'm thinking, I bet the dealers don't like that when they find one of their watches pop up on that site for second-hand resale. In the UK, we're averaging 26,000 cases a day. Yeah, Scott, but that was down from 51,000 when we were there, wasn't it? In the July 19, I think that was the day I left. And I remember seeing it was 51,000 cases. But yeah, that is still a lot of cases. Excuse me. But it makes me laugh when Canberra goes into lockdown because they have one case. One case pops up in Canberra and 400,000 people have to stay home. Not that I have a better option, but I just smile when that happens. With the Miami circuit, where do you think you'll be? I've got no idea. Right, I'm clueless. I don't even know where I'll be staying. No idea. I don't know where we'll come from either. What is this? Rolex dealers in the UK are keeping hold of the Rolex warranty cards yet again. Is that right? Okay. 22 cases in the ACT. Okay, well, that's gone up from 1. Well, good thing they locked down. That might have been 100. New Zealand shut down the whole country for 3 to 4 days. Yes, I know that. And that was somebody coming from Australia, was it not? Why do you think Richard Mille watches have gotten popular? Are they popular, or do they spend a lot of money on advertising and people are easily persuaded? Who knows? Who's the most cocky F1 driver? Oh, look, I don't see any of them as cocky. I see Max is not that interested in the media. He's not rude, but he's just not interested. I see people like Mick Schumacher, not interested either, not cocky, just prefers not to be in the limelight too much. I see Lewis now embracing the media with his outfits he wears on, well, it's actually been 4 days. At some races he's worn interesting, fashionable outfits, and I love that. Because he really... Now, the interesting thing there is no one can quite work out whether he is garnering any income from that, but I understand it's just his personal wardrobe that he's buying. But I could be wrong, and I'd love someone to say, no, they've read somewhere that he's being paid to wear that, because at the moment he is very, very open with the media, photographers and video. Look, and occasionally we'll even get the word that he's going to be wearing something and we should be at a certain spot at a certain time, and we're always thankful for that. And I don't think too many of us would turn down an opportunity if he's going to make himself available without a mask on, no matter what he's wearing. Yeah, we're interested. So until we get more vaccines, lockdowns help hospitals not to be overwhelmed, of course. But I've got to tell you, in Croatia, they don't give a shit. These hotels say masks everywhere, and I'll get into a lift with a mask on, and there's people in there without masks, and they don't care. None of them care, really. It's quite amazing. My voice is deeper because I've got a cold at the moment. I've had it for 5 days. Not COVID, a cold. Just a phlegmy cold. Funniest team boss. Or Michael, maybe it's Fred. He can be quite chirpy. Or Gunter. Do post that TikTok video you're going to post on your YouTube too, Boz. We don't have TikTok here. Yeah, now, yesterday I put up the video about what the drivers drove to the track. I'll come back to the worst breakfast in a minute. And I stupidly missed out Yuki. But I then decided, okay, well, I'll go and put in the description, if you missed that, I'll put a link to a very short video, 8 seconds, about what Yuki was driving. And that was good, because you can't go, unfortunately, and edit a video once it's up, which is a bummer. My lovely wife goes back just after Belgium. Thoughts on a Formula 1-2 E-race in Sydney? What, out of that Homebush? Is that where do you have the race? I think so. No, I don't know. I don't. Well, maybe Formula E would be perfect. Do you think the Japan GP will be cancelled? I sort of hope it is. A, because I got my application in late, and I might not get the government permission, but more so because it's just a shit place for accommodation. and I don't think they'll have any crowds there, so it's going to be a pretty dead race. And I've got to admit, I really loved the atmosphere at races. And what I'm going to do, hang on, let me look at this question. There I see. I've got distracted now. What was I talking about? Can't remember. I'll come back to it at some point. Japan. Oh, Japan F1 has been cancelled. Where are you reading that, vegan tard? Where are you reading that? Yeah, I've got used to the spectators, and what I will do now, and I did it at the last race, is stay out on the main straight between the grid, between the driver's parade and grid. And I'm just going to shoot spectators because two things. A, those pictures sold very well to all those people, which is great, because I need the income to cover this ridiculous cost of flitting around the world. And secondly, it's because it's just fun. It's people having a good time. And the beauty of it is, once I take a picture, because I'll show you this. Right, so this is the camera. See this thing on the side? This is a ridiculously expensive dongle that costs about, do you see that reversed? Does that come up as Canon spelled correctly or reversed? I'm interested in that answer. That allows me to broadcast or send a photo direct from my camera in very quick time. Now, I've been struggling all year without this, thinking that I can just send it from the camera, which you can, but after, oh, thank you, Mango, it's only reversed on my camera. But after a race, if I try and put a photo up without this dongle, 51 minutes. With the dongle, 3. And normally, during a race, when there's not that much internet traffic, that can be 20 seconds, sometimes 10 with the dongle and maybe 3 minutes without. Having to wait 51 was just doing my head in, so I had to buy 2 of those things. And when I take photos of you in the crowd in the main straight, between those 2 events, the driver's parade and grid, I'll be banging them up straight away. So within a few minutes, if I've taken your photo, you can go straight to prostarpics.com, see your photo. I love that. Try vlogging with a GoPro. No, I wouldn't do it. I can't afford to take any more kit. In fact, I've got to get rid of stuff. I only photograph Formula One. Favourite country? Oh, I quite like Australia. I'd like to go there again. George Russell, will he go to Mercedes? Look, I'm not qualified to answer. I read stories. I speak to people. There is pros and cons. I don't know. Honestly, don't know. Please post your short popular on your YouTube too. Yeah. I might just do it for members. I don't know, because I don't want to put up a 20-second video on my YouTube channel. Have you thought about going to a mirrorless? I got this the other day, R5. Love this. It's better than the R because it's got a bigger screen on the back here. Hey, James C, with the very funny picture of Jack Nicholson from The Shining. He's now a member. Good on you, James. Yeah, that particular camera is great. And what I love about it is this, because if I want to shoot with this camera and get it on the ground, look at this. My chin has to be sitting on the ground, which is very uncomfortable. 1,300 Aussie dollars for those. And how long before Schumacher's at Ferrari? Oh, some years. I think he's got to get a bit better. But this, I can put on the ground like this, right? And I can look down from the top, and I can shoot with the camera lens sitting on the ground. And you don't have to look through, obviously, the viewfinder. You can click. You can press on this panel here, and it takes a photo. Like, for instance, here, if I just do this, see, it takes a photo. Let me go back to this. I can't do that. See, that takes a photo by just doing that. So I can look down, look in the viewfinder, press on Lewis's face, I've taken a photo. How I then transmit it instantly, I'm not sure, because that camera does not allow me to fit one of these dongles on the side. It does connect to a Canon app, which is horrendously poor. Are you missing my studio in Australia? Oh, well, yeah, if I wanted to shoot people, I would miss that studio, but I've not got many people over here, except for F1 people, and the whole thing with F1 is you don't get a minute, 2 minutes to shoot a driver. You get 10 seconds as they walk past. And it's a real challenge because you have to be quick. And I did witness once, it was with Kevin Magnuson, some local photographer, had said, "Oh, Kevin, can I get some photos?" And he's just walking along. "Yes, Kevin, can I get some photos?" And I'm thinking, he's not going to stop for you, mate. He's not going to stop. And he just made a bit of a dick of himself, but maybe it was his first time. And in fact, I may do a video on my first race in Melbourne because I was clueless. No idea. A bit of an idea, but really it was it embarrassing? No, because you have to have a first race, but you are all the time looking over your shoulder thinking, should I be here? So yeah, that will be a video I contemplate and perhaps do coming up. What about a day in a life? I'd love someone to follow me at a track and take photos of me in a whole day, but no one's going to do that. I can't ever get an extra pass, and there's no photographer who's got a full day to waste on me. Have I ever missed F1 race to photograph? Yeah, I missed 3 in 2018, I think 1 in 2019. Canada, I've missed twice. And of course last year, so that's 3 that I've missed, which didn't go ahead last year, and this year we'll miss it. So I've only done 1 in Canada, it was in 2017. It's freaking expensive for Perth people to go to Canada, I tell you that. And it takes every bit of 36 hours to get there, and it's an ugly trip. Do you pack the old ones and post them home? No, my wife will take home my R5, which actually has a fault because the microphone plugs into this socket here, right? Yes, I always remember my first time of everything. And what happens is, right, that's where the microphone socket sits. And then I'll go and put that down on a table like that. And that just puts pressure on the camera. And you do that often enough, and I have done it often enough with the other camera, and it buggers it up. So then the microphone jack doesn't work, becomes dicky. So that's why I thought, right, well, that's my reason to go and buy the better camera that I should have bought the first time, but I'm sort of glad I wasted some time with the cheaper camera to learn my lesson. So now, with the microphone, once I've done my audio, I unplug it. Now I just have to make sure I do that. No, I can't bring my son with me. He's got his study to do, and I can't get an extra pass. No one can get an extra pass. A great starter camera? Don't know. I don't even know what's available these days. No idea whatsoever. Which driver's the funniest to photograph? It was always Nico Hulkenberg because I knew him reasonably well. No one's funny at the moment. No one. No. Can you not buy a remote for R5 for hands-free? Yeah, you probably could, and there's another piece of equipment to break down or carry or lose. So no. What do I miss about Australia? I miss some space. I've got quite a big house on the beach, which is lovely. Dean's going to the Belgian GP. Yes, Dean, you need to know that you could be the recipient of a signed Valtteri Bottas beautiful A3 print. Signed by Valtteri, not me. I'll sign her on the back, perhaps. And you could win that by just following me on social and doing what I tell you to do at a particular time. If you're there on the Sunday night, you'd need to collect it from Spa. But I will be giving that away. But otherwise, you'll be faced normally with a long walk to get into the track. But there's all these bars on the way there. It's a very much a social scene, but I don't know what it's going to be like, obviously, with COVID. I think we might have... Okay, well, it could be a race in Qatar, could be 2 in... It could be going to Bahrain again, maybe 2 in Saudi. Who knows? More questions from you, the good people. And reminder, please join as a VIP member if you want these extra goodies. And I'll be putting up more exclusive videos. I'm going to do a video too on the drivers' logos. I got one of my graphics guys in Perth to round up all of the logos. And a couple of them he had to recreate with vectors, using vector something. Anyway, I've got them all, and I think it'll be an interesting video because a lot of you haven't seen the 4 in Lando's logo. Some of you haven't seen the 63 in George Russell's. Perth Luxury here again, and Perth obviously gets my attention. And this is a super chat, so I can't avoid your question if you super chat. driver with the best watch collection. I don't know. I've seen Rosberg in a Kermit. I know Daniel's got some nice watches. One in particular I quite love, and I don't think you've ever seen it. And his father actually had it on once. And I thought, wow, that's lovely. Jackie Stewart has some nice Rolexes. And I did ask him the other day too. I had a brief moment and there was no one around. So I said, is it true that your left sleeve is shorter than your right, so your Rolex sticks out? Yes, Eldon, I love wearing a Rolex. And he said, yes, definitely true. So I can confirm that firsthand from the great man. And I did get a message today, and I don't think I can see it on this phone. No, I can't. From somebody who said that they love my stuff, and they were working in the South Australian Police Force, going back when there was a Grand Prix in Adelaide, and he said he still has his paddock pass, which he got working for the police, and while he was allowed access to the paddock, and as such he met people like Jackie Stewart, and he'd rounded off a few names, and he said, George Harrison. I said, well, I think I know the race that you're at, because I also met Jackie and Damon and Johnny Herbert and George Harrison at La Castellinga restaurant on probably the Saturday night. And I got the autograph of all four of those great guys. Yeah, I've also got another piece of Beatles memorabilia in a safe. In fact, I've got two pieces of Beatles memorabilia. One is their concert program from 1964 in Australia, and it was a personal copy of the promoter, and when he died, his estate was put up for auction. And I picked up that program, and it's signed by all four of the Beatles. Michael, it's $15 Australian a month, I think, VIP membership. And if you were to go and buy one of my images on ProStar Pics, the minimum you'd pay is $22 for personal use, and you'd only get a JPEG. So with this, you get at least 4 RAWs each month that you can go and edit, plus you get wallpapers, plus you get access to certain videos, and you get a higher standing and great kudos when it comes to this. Let me just have a look here. Thank you. How much did you pay for the boat? Oh, the boat. Well, there's a whole lot of extras when you go and rent a boat. So whenever you see a price, and it may have been, I don't know, 13,000 euros for the week, you've got to add on top. It's got to be fuel, it's expensive. Mooring fees, expensive. Food, expensive. The staff come with it, and they were great staff. And you know what? Did you see that video I did about my boat trip? There were 2 guys in loud shirts on board a boat at the Vice Harbour. And I saw them, and I thought, right, I'll come and get you to say subscribe to Kim Illman. And they did it, and they were great. And one of them said, one of his friends sent it to him and said, look, you're on this. And I think that's great, because I actually told him where to look for it, but he didn't have to look for it because one of his friends saw it before he chanced finding it. Yes, they're friends of mine. Kirk is a lovely accountant from England, and his wife Emma was also funny, and we had 3 great crew members. Thoroughly enjoyable, and I'm glad it was last week and not this, because the last 2 days the winds have been very strong. Yeah, the little fella, the Hall family, Scott, that's who you're thinking of. Well, the skipper was throwing cans at the other boat, because when you go to fuel, if you're second in the queue, you'd expect to be second to go up and get fuel, but somebody pushed in front, and then that causes all sorts of dramas, and it's on. They're shouting and swearing, and as you saw, can throwing. And there were a lot of boats, because some of those boats can take an hour and a half to refuel. And if it's a big boat, only 2 other smaller boats can get in. Am I missing my cars? No, and the car I have at the moment is a piece of shit. It's a Ford of some sort that is so scratched, it's small, it doesn't have cruise control, it's horribly expensive, and it's that because we left it until the last minute. Do you see a change in the behaviour, or rather spirits of the drivers at their home races? No, I don't notice it. But then again, I'm not in the paddock. Maybe I'd notice it in the paddock. Yeah, I've been to New Zealand, Zach, once, and I was there for 1 day. I was going to go skiing. I stayed in Methven, and maybe I stayed for 2 nights and flew back home. I didn't like this bullshit of driving up the mountain in a bus or driving up on my own. I wanted to stay on the mountain. So yeah, My son wanted to go to New Zealand to ski, but then, of course, they closed that corridor because of COVID. Yeah, lovely to see Bernie about. Most expensive car dealership ex-owner. Yeah, he was great, really, and so's his wife, Fabiana. A lot of time for her. She's always great, both in the paddock and the other day. Sent me a lovely note because I dropped off that picture and sent her the high-res image, and I thought it was a lovely photo of the pair. I photographed them a lot. I don't like glass hooped watches, John. I'm not a fan. Have I seen any F1 drivers? No. I've seen no one from F1 here. Did you see... No. Dirty Dan 643, the answer to your question, for me, is Saudi Arabia. I'm pumped. Oh, now, I know I've got followers from all over the world. Have I, by any chance, got anyone from Afghanistan who might be able to come on and tell us what it's like living in your country, or ideally in Kabul? Because, of course, we've all seen that drama play out over the last few days. I'd be very keen to hear from anyone who is in that area and get a real view, not a tainted view, perhaps. Taliban says they're going to give everyone an amnesty and it's all going to be fine. Great. If that happens, great. I think it's... look, I looked at that photo of all those people on the plane, shoved in, 640 people on that carrier, and somebody said they're almost all men. Where are the women and children? Why weren't they out there? Who knows? There'd be a story behind that, and perhaps someone who's on the ground might tell us. No chance there's any Afghans watching. I know, but haven't they got internet? I know there's 25 million phones in the country. 20 years ago, there was 0. I think I heard something on the telecast today. Hi, Kim, love from, and should I know that flag? Is that Pakistan? What flag is that? Tell me, excuse my ignorance. I've already made a travel tips compilation, one from, if you go back and have a look at my past videos, it's definitely there. Might do another one. Best mates. Who are your best mates with drivers in the paddock? No, not best mates with any of them, mate. We see them for minutes, seconds at a time. But you know, I think most drivers would stop and have a quick chat with you. A chat with Carlos in the lift the other day. Pierre's always chatty. I like the fact that he asks about my son, because my son gave him a T-shirt once when he was doing T-shirts, and he's very interested in Tyler's, what's the word, cleverness with crypto. He's made quite a lot of money recently out of that, yeah, and Lando's always makes me laugh. Had a couple of chats with Nikita Mazepin, who I like. I think he's, to talk to, he's a tremendous fella. I know he's got this reputation, but look, if I hadn't have read anything or seen anything online, I just think he's a normal bloke like the rest of the guys. Had a lovely chat with Nick de Vries the other day. He's a funny kid, loves watches. And of course, he's the current Formula E world champion. What's the most important aspect of a hotel room for me? The air conditioning and the bed. Yeah, because we walked into this place here the other day, and that first day it was hot outside and it was hot inside, and you just couldn't get it any cooler. So I ended up asking for a fan. Thank you, Michael. It's the Indian flag. Mickey Rambo's in Sunderland with the black and white stripes. Is that your team? Do they have black and white stripes? Or is that Newcastle? I did watch, there's a video, isn't there? A Netflix video on Sunderland. Correct me if I'm wrong, I think I watched that. Remember, if you want to get to the top of the list here and get your questions seen, go to Super Chat. And we have another 21 minutes before I go to Zadar and film the organ that plays on the water. I gather the audio is fine because no one said anything to the contrary, but I've got my little microphone here, which you can just see. There it is. There's a little fluffy bit on it, and you would have heard that. That's Newcastle, yes, where, what's his name? Oh, I do know that guy's name that played for Newcastle. It'll come to me. I'm looking forward to Zandvoort. Yes, I'm staying out at the airport because they originally booked in the city, and people said, you're wasting your time. You'll spend all your time in the car getting to and from. I thought, rightio, I'm not going to waste my time. Shearer, that's it, Alan Shearer. Thank you, Tim and Dean. What What else can I tell you? Don't ask me where I'm staying in Belgium. I don't know yet. I haven't actually. I've got two places booked, but I'm waiting on another better option, which may come up. It'll be last minute. Yes, I use a monopod. I only use it on my 600, and I use it exclusively on that. I would rarely ever not have the 600 on a monopod. It's just too long a throw. Michael, I might have a pizza in Monza, but I had one last night and it was fantastic. And it had anchovies on it. And I had another one in a place called Vies. And it was so good I went back and got another one. And then I felt a little bit ill the next day. Learned my lesson. But otherwise, on that boat, it was fantastic. The food was good and we didn't eat all day. We just ate the 3 meals and that's pretty good. I'm a Mackham, he's a Geordie. Do you watch the V8 supercars? Rarely. Might have watched a bit of Bathurst for 10 minutes or something. Lamborghini or Ferrari? Ferrari, biggest fan ever. Oh, you are. I thought you were asking me who's the biggest fan I've met. I see a lot of people. There's a girl called Dunker from Britain. She's a mega fan of F1. She runs a thing called Pints and Pit Stops in Britain and gets a lot of people who are like-minded to come along and watch races in a London pub. Is there a particular day you prefer to photograph on? Yeah, I like Thursday because we actually get to see more of the drivers because they do a track walk and there's no car action on track. But I also like Sundays because obviously we get a race. Do F1 photographers fight? Fight? Yeah, occasionally. I've seen a few push and shoves. I've seen a lot of shouting. There's one particular photographer who shouts at you when you get... And it shouts at anyone. Like, we'll be photographing Parc Fermé and there'll be FIA stewards and all sorts standing doing their job and in his direct line, and he'll just fire up at them. Hey, get out of the way. And I think, well, I'm not sure how well that works because they just look at him and keep going about their job. But no, very little angst between photographers. I don't think I've seen any. Favourite track? Yeah, James, you know the answer. James is a regular because he is a member, as is Mango. Which F1 drivers don't do the track walk? There's 7 of them. I counted the other day. They are Lewis and Valtteri. They are Max. They are Daniel. Right. I've got to go down my list and I haven't got them all. What other teams? AlphaTauri do them. Kimi doesn't. It's 5. There are 2 more. Yeah. Alonso does them. James, yeah, he does them. Ferrari boys both do them. Does Carlos do them? Yeah, Carlos does them. I can't remember. There's 2 others. If I had this phone that I'm using right there, I could just go and look at the field and tell you. Hello, India. Lots of Indian fans. What's the time in India? Someone will tell me very quickly. Can you see, by the way, what the other bottle is next to the Vegemite in the background there? Do you know what that is? Best way to meet the drivers and you in Belgium? Dean, maybe at the entry to the paddock, if you can get anywhere near that. I've got no idea what access you'll have for that. I don't even know how we're going to get into the media centre because it's right in the middle of the paddock. Hi, Missouri. Is Kalamazoo in Missouri or is that Michigan? Because that's one of the cheapest places in America to live, I saw today. Oh, okay. So Ben's saying that Alonso did the track walk in Portugal and had a good result. And as a result, he now does them. It's not shampoo, no. Hi, Japan. Michigan, right? I knew it was MI. Hi from Dubai. Is it jam? It's not jam. You don't stick it in your mouth, I promise you that. Not Southern Comfort. I tell you what, this water brand here owns the market in this country. Yamnitsa, I think it's pronounced. Yamni or whatever. I can't find... Yes, sun cream it is, Eladin. I can't find any other sparkling mineral water except that. Why is India half an hour off? That must... No, that's not oddly... That's not odd because South Australia is a half an hour behind Victoria. and 2.5 hours behind, or 1.5 hours behind Perth normally. Hi Romania, I enjoyed my time in Bucharest. Someone said something's rude, I missed that, did I? Could you ever do a video of drivers' tattoos? Yeah, I've thought about that, but I don't have enough shots of them, quite frankly. Now, if I was back in the paddock, I could focus on that because, especially on a Thursday where they stand and do interviews, that would be great. And I have done that in the past where I stand and watch these drivers do interviews and then I'll stop shooting and I think, no, don't stop shooting. Focus on something different. Look for their rings, their jewellery, their watch, their name on their belt, all that sort of stuff. Hi, Brew from South Australia. Are you down at Victor Harbour? I used to go to Victor Harbour as a kid. I've got Real Estate Croatia following me here. Love your country. You should do a meet-up in Austin. No, we can't mix with the public. We're not allowed to. We're explicitly told we can't mix with the public. We can walk around, but we can't go and have functions yet. So that won't be happening unless we do it across the road. Perhaps we could do that. Did Cyril get the tattoo? No, I think they're going to wait until post-COVID. Encounter Bay, Victor Harbour, yes. I used to work on the Granite Island train, Brew, going backwards and forwards as a 12-year-old. I got 20 cents an hour. It was 6 cents for kids, 12 cents for adults. My grandfather owned the Granite Island train. I loved it. It was great. And in fact, and I know you people in the rest of the world, what the hell is he talking about? Let's see if I can find this picture. Yeah, here we go. How good's this? This will mean something only to people from South Australia, but that is the Granite Island train with my grandfather, the great Arnold Stringer, who also ran Stringer's Aerated Waters. And I used to work on that train, which went over to the island and back. It'd do about 15 kilometres an hour, and you had to hop off one carriage, run along with the train, and then jump on the next carriage. Fantastic time of my life. Oh, they're redoing the jetty there at the moment too. Did you ever drive on an F1 circuit or F1 car? Yeah, I've driven on an F1 circuit. In fact, I've driven at speed in my rally car in Melbourne going back many years ago when I was doing car rallies, Targa races. Favourite race of the season so far? Well, I want you to... No, okay, I won't do that. It'll be either the last one or which one? Shit, I can't remember. Baku. Circuit with the best fans. The Monza, they're crazy, absolutely crazy. Britain was good. Hungary, they were all excited as well. What happened to Cyril? He fell out of favour, I think. Bit of a sad thing. Favourite hotel, hostel? My favourite Airbnb this year has been the one in Lisbon. And the favourite hotel... or Dubrovnik Palace, the suite that we had, it was a mighty room. My God, I'd love to have that every place I went to. And you'll see that on one of my videos, one of my past videos. 11 minutes to go, and if you want to join up as a VIP member, I urge you to do it. I drove a Mitsubishi Evo 9 Stu, and go and have a look. Search Kim Illman, Monster Targa Tasmania crash. I should be dead. Came off the road, 170 kilometres an hour, flew 35 metres in the air into a paddock. Just should be dead. Been to Far, however you pronounce it. In fact, I didn't even go into the town. I know my wife went in. I edited a video on the boat. When is Danny going to turn it up and get podiums? Well, I'm not qualified to answer that, Ross. No idea. Have I tried an electric car? No, not yet. Which camera do you use? I've done a whole video on my camera kit, Amaya. Go and have a look. It's a ripper. Canon. The video is hilarious for what it is, says James, yes. Do I ever go home? No, I can't go home. I've got to do 2 weeks quarantine. The only time I could have gone home is now. It would have taken me 2 days to get home, so I would have got home on the Wednesday. I do 2 weeks. It takes me 2 days to get back. I would have had 5 days in my house. And I'm not going to do that. That's a waste of time. If I drank coffee, crouton mugeur, I would go to that cafe. Is Ricardo fueled by Marmite? I wouldn't have thought so. I'm not even sure he eats Vegemite. But I love Vegemite. I tried some Marmite when I couldn't get Vegemite. Just did it once, that was enough. Why does Mick never take his helmet off? He doesn't want to. Although I did catch him walking in on the Sunday up to the gate, which hardly any photographers go to, but there were 3 of us that day. And I only went up there because I thought I had to get photos of drivers that I'd missed on the previous 3 days. And in actual fact, I don't think I missed any of the drivers by going to that gate because I got them all before and went up there late and got Mick, Kimi, Vettel on a bike. Yeah, so that worked out all right. And you do know that you can go and pick up all of my pictures at prostarpics.com. That's where I put all of my images up, and they're available for sale for personal or editorial use. Ben, I have an FJ Cruiser, I have a Ute, I have a 911 Turbo, I have a Tarago, and that's it. So, but I love the FJ Cruiser. I spend most of my life in that car in Lancelin, beach bashing, up and down on the sand dunes. It's quite lovely. What else have I got here? I've been to Mount Panorama, yes. I raced, no, I didn't race, but I put my car, my Evo 9 in the Bathurst 12 hour, where it came 6th. It's pretty exciting. Who's the most photogenic driver in your opinion? Yeah, Lando's good. Pierre's good. Mick Schumacher has the loveliest, bluest eyes. Lewis is good because his fashion is interesting and people like to see that. Charles is just a good-looking guy. Carries himself well, confident. Yeah, so they come to mind. Not that the others aren't, but they come to mind. I didn't expect Lando to beat Daniel at all. I thought Daniel would have it all over Lando, but not yet. Will it come? Who knows? We have another, what have we got? We've had 10 and we've got 13 more, haven't we? Yeah, 13 more races. And it's going to be hell. Some of those are triple headers, which makes it very difficult for me to do videos for you. Have you ever had people get angry at you taking photographs? No. Nope. Yeah, one idiot who claimed that I had to ask his permission. He's at the track. I don't think he realised that when you buy a ticket and you go into a racetrack, you've already agreed that your image can be used for whatever purposes anyone wants. Clearly, this clown had no idea that he'd signed that, and you wouldn't spend any time bringing it up with him. You just let him go. You don't worry about people like that. Thanks for the restaurant recommendations, but I'm not here to eat. I'm just here to relax and do stuff, so we'll probably just eat at this hotel because that's easy. Ben, I've been shooting it since 2017. Max Verstappen is my prediction. Do you go inside the track the same route as... Do you go inside the track the same route as drivers? Not sure what you mean by that. A morning from northeast of England. Good morning to you, where it is 8 minutes to 9. If you can, oh, I'm going to Sibernek. Yeah, at some point. We're going to drop by and have a look there. And hit Pellegrini. It just got a second Michelin star. Sometimes think those Michelin star restaurants are just a bit too wanky. Just want an honest meal. Did you ever think you'd be covering F1? Never. Until I decided I wanted to do it. Alex, go and have a look at my financials, the money side of F1 video. I explain how I got into F1 in some detail there. So go and watch that. What did you do before being... Well, have a look at kimillman.com. You'll get your answer there. But I have several companies that I still own in Australia. I'm just taking some time out from it at the moment. Through the same gates. Yeah, we all drive in. So we drive inside the track through the same gates. And we park in a different area to them. And they get the best parks next to the swipe gates into the paddock. Michelin star thing. Well, let's have a look. Maybe I'll go and have a look at that restaurant. I think he means the swipe gates. Yeah, but we can't go in the swipe gates. We can't go to the paddock. We have to stand outside them because this year the paddock is a red zone. It's only for essential teams and media. And there are no photographers allowed to move around in there. If you're a photographer that shoots for a team, you are allowed to go to the garage and the hospitality suite and backwards and forwards, but you can't wander the paddock. I have a poodle, Mango, the best poodle you can imagine. Well, James C., the fixed wing licence is a pretty easy add-on once you've done the helicopter. That's the hard one, I'm understanding. He may get the fixed wing. Who knows? Do you think the Japanese GP will get cancelled? Well, I haven't read a great deal. What have you heard? I think it's certainly in doubt. Hating this summer break makes our Melbourne winter lockdown event longer. Oh, I know my sister-in-law, Milton, lives in Malvern, East Malvern, and she's very sad about the whole thing, as you can well imagine. Because you've been in lockdown in Melbourne for way too long. It was 111 days last year, and then more days this year. It's got knobs on it. Can you do a room tour? No, it's messy, and my wife will go berserk. Adnan, go to my YouTube video, The Money Side of F1. I'll tell you exactly how I earn my money. If that's of interest to you, become a VIP member. Max will win, Amaya. Spa and Zandvoort. Max in Zandvoort. Latifi in Spa. There you go, a long shot. What's the time there? Here, it's 5 to 10 p.m. 5 to 10 a.m. Lewis brought Roscoe to Austria. Somebody said he came in the other day at another track with Roscoe too. He stays in his motorhome at most of these races. In fact, I think all of the Euro races so far. My profession is corporate aircraft pilot. I have a 1941 biplane, says James C. Okay. What city are you in, James? Maybe we could go for a fly. Are you anywhere near Austin? That'd be nice. No room tour. Won't be happening. What's the story with the message in a bottle? There's a video on it, Chris. KimIllman.com. Go and watch the video. Yes, well, I'm going to say met Lewis. I've had a word to him a couple of times, very briefly, maybe 2 sentences each. It's not like you're sitting down having a chat, because with Lewis, he's always in time to sit down and have a chat with you, and certainly when you see him in the paddock or coming into the track, there'll be other photographers who want to shoot him, and they won't take too kindly to you sidling up and having a 1-minute chat. Well, they actually might, because it might stop him and allow them to get more pics. But no, he is a very busy man. Melbourne has had 6 lockdowns, and I've added an extra one by going to Darwin right when it locked down. I used to live in Darwin, TJ. I lived in Nightcliff and in Stewart Park. Worked on radio there for 5 years on 8DN. Loved it. Great thing to do as a 21-year-old. Japan might get cancelled due to new virus strain. Well, I won't be sorry if that happens. I won't be sorry at all. Lando comes across as an absolutely lovely person. Yeah, I agree. Absolutely great guy. It takes the piss out of me it has had taken the piss out of me a couple of times. Favourite country you've been to? Oh, there's nothing that stands out. Nothing stands out. Loving my VIP membership, by the way, and my Stay Passionate shirts. Oh, yes, and my merchandise, which is on KimIllman.com. The guys in my office just designed some new hats, bucket hats. You can now get a bucket hat. So you get onto KimIllman.com and go to my shop on that page and see what merchandise I have available for you. Yeah. Danger to Marketing has now become a backer. And you also get a little emoji. So thank you for becoming a member and a backer, Danger to Marketing. Darwin is in lockdown, yes. It's only a short lockdown. Short and hard rather than long and loose, someone said the other day. Finally back. Google Pay was rejecting my UAE cards for 18 days. Oh. Well, I'm glad that you persevered, my friend. Yes, I did see that the CEO of Spa was murdered by her husband. It was 3 people murdered, 2 women and a man. The woman was the head of the Spa circuit. That's a sad and violent story, isn't it? I never met that woman. And it was only because somebody sent me a link to a story that I knew, that I found out about it. Now, Tyler's not coming anywhere this year. He hasn't got a reason to leave. Yeah. I don't know. Speaking of that, I listen to a lot of podcasts because I have a lot of time driving, obviously, from place to place. And I love listening to Dateline NBC's, what are they called? There are all these podcasts about murders in America. And almost always, it's a relative. It's always love gone wrong. But they are fascinating and brilliantly done. Sometimes up to 2 hours, some of these docos. I think that's just the audio from the TV shows, but I love them, yes. Natalie Melee, and someone will tell me how to spell her name, but yes, I didn't meet the woman. And sad news, obviously, when anyone dies in that circumstance, especially if you're the innocent party. May I suggest Americast as a podcast? Okay, thank you for that. Always after ideas. And once again, I'm going to make a plea before I end here. If anybody is in Spa that is a brilliant Final Cut Pro editor, and they're going to be there on the Thursday night, I have some paid work for somebody, and you can contact me at info@kimellman.com, but you must be brilliant at Final Cut Pro, because I need somebody to enhance my workflow and help me out. And if you're also in Spa, there's a chance for you to win a signed Valtteri Bottas picture. Beautiful A3 print of him coming out of the tunnel in Monaco, signed by Valtteri. And with that said, I will thank all of you for joining in, and I'm going to head to Zadar now. And oh, by the way, I'm throwing out all my T-shirts today, hopefully, because I found there's a shopping centre there with some good quality brands, and it's time that I threw them all out, give them to charity, and get some new ones, because I'm sick of these same 7 T-shirts. All right, my friends, so with that said, I'll say goodbye and thank you for watching. Oh, and remember, stay passionate.